You know what really grinds my gears?
Hello everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Hope you are having a pleasant day. It is December 3rd, 2025. We're going to talk sports here, talk Minnesota sports in general. It's not looking good for both the Minnesota Vikings and the Minnesota Twins. Let's start with the one that was just happened, the Minnesota Vikings. They just lost again to the Seattle Seahawks. The Sam Darnold revenge game, as they call it. Darnold didn't play that great. The defense actually did a very good job. It was the offense, the Vikings offense, that shit the bed, didn't show up. We got shut out 26-0, the worst game of the Kevin O'Connell era. It's the first loss we've had where we were shut out since 2000. The early to mid 2010s, I believe. Wasn't pretty. Adam Thielen was a healthy scratch, and we found out why. It was a week ago after the Packers loss that he requested his release so he can go play for somebody else. He informed everybody that this will be his final season. He is retiring, and I don't blame him. He's not being used that much, didn't get used at all, hardly, coming back to Minnesota. He still feels he's got a little bit left in the tank. Personally, I think he's cooked. Even when he's in there, he hasn't been doing very good. He's had a couple drops and he's not the Adam Thielen of old. And it's a shame, too, because he's a damn good player and a damn good person. But not surprised that he's hanging it up, but I'm not surprised that he asked for his release. He can hitch his wagon somewhere else, and that's exactly what happened. The Steelers picked him up off waivers. Aaron Rodgers bitching and moaning about his receivers yet again, instead of pointing a finger at himself. So now Adam Thielen's going to Pittsburgh to play with them, so he can help them. It's not just Thielen that needs to hang it up. Brian Kelly, his concussions, the history of that, we all know about that. Harrison Smith, he's playing like a man he's just phoning it in. He's not the Harry, the hitman of old. He needs to retire too. They need to gut this whole team starting from the top. It's not working. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa needs to be fired as general manager. It's been a disaster since 2022. We have 2 winning seasons, and we were one and done in both seasons. The guy can't draft to save his fucking life. I mean, you had a generational cornerback sitting in your lap in 2022 in Kyle Hamilton, and what do? You trade back. And with those picks, you picked up Lewis Cine, Andrew Booth Jr., and Ed Ingram, all three who are not even here anymore. Booth Jr. and Cine were busts. Ed Ingram got the hell out of Minnesota, and now he's one of the best guards in the league in Jacksonville. So you flopped on that. The only good pick Kwesi's done is Jordan Addison from 2023 or 2022. That's 2023, I believe. And then last year, Dallas Turner, who's finally turning around, having a good game this past week. Last couple of weeks, Turner's finally showing up. He's doing good, so I think we can take the bust label away from him. I think Dallas Turner will be fine. Will the Thrill Reichert, the kicker. Everybody else, it's been a head scratcher. They either are suck, they're not even here anymore. The free agency, 2024 was a great year for free agency. We did a great job. That was a good one. But this past year, spending $250 million, and everybody has been anything but successful. It's time to go. Kwesi needs to go. His sidekick, Lieutenant Ryan Grigson, who sucked as general manager in Indy, comes here and continues to suck. He needs to go. And then it's just a matter of the coaching staff. Just go from top to bottom. I like KOC. I think he's a great dude, but I don't think it's working. He needs to, if he wants to keep his job for one more year and get better, he needs to give up play calling. He's too stubborn. He's a younger version of Brad Childress. He's got a kick-ass offense, and it's not very kick-ass, except it's kicking our ass. KOC needs to give up play calling. They need to get an offensive coordinator in there to call plays. Somebody that's got more of a mindset to be successful. None of the 7-step drop back bullshit, long dragged out plays to go way downfield, especially with rookie quarterbacks like J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer, who are still learning. And the league is just sending the house on these guys, and they're failing miserably. Somebody released some stats about all the quarterbacks KOC has developed and worked on. And most of the people that are successful, that have been successful, are quarterbacks that are veteran presence. Kirk Cousins, Nick Mullins. Even though Nick Mullins isn't very good, he was producing. He throw for 4 picks and all that, but he throw for 400 yards and actually move this offense down the field. Sam Darnold last year. But guys that are young and inexperienced in KOC's offensive scheme have struggled. Jaron Hall, J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer. Something needs to change. We need to change philosophy. And I think the perfect scenario for the Vikings is if there's a team out there, a head coach hungry team that wants KOC, let them have them for a draft pick. Teams have traded head coaches for draft picks before. If KOC's stock is still somewhat high, let him go to a team, a team that needs an offensive coordinator as a head coach. And if you can pick up a first-round pick or a second-round pick, do it. And then what I would do is I would offer the job to Brian Flores. And I know that's going to be hard to do because of his, he has the lawsuit against the NFL when he was coach of the Dolphins, and then they fired him. And he sued them and all that stuff. I get it. He probably won't get a job until that's all figured out, but this is what you do. You don't want to lose Brian Flores out the door in case another team decides, fuck it, we'll hire him anyways because of the lawsuit. A team like Cincinnati who could really use some help. Give him a 3-year offer with the caveat, let's get rid of the lawsuit. We're going to treat you right. We're going to pay you. You're our guy now. You help fix the defense, even though it's shown signs of a little wear. But defense, compared to years past, looks great. Give Brian Flores the job, and then go from there. I think that would be the best outcome for the Vikings. And then go get a good, studly offensive coordinator, a guy that knows how to be an OC and can get the job done and get these guys playing again. And I'm thinking of guys like, and I know people are going to be like, are you kidding me? Kevin Stefanski, the current Browns head coach, he was the Vikings offensive coordinator, went to Cleveland. It hasn't worked out for him there, but it's mostly been quarterback problems and ownership spending money on the defensive side of the ball. The quarterback issues, I put the blame on the Browns more so than Stefanski. Stefanski is a good offensive mind. I think he'd make a great not a head coach, but offensive coordinator here. And another guy that I think would be a great offensive mind is the Giants head coach that was fired, Brian Daboll. He worked with Josh Allen before it turned him into a stud. I think Daboll as an OC would be okay. I think he would be good. Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins head coach who's under hot water right now, would be an okay pick as an OC. So maybe for the next offensive coordinator, not necessarily hiring a guy that used to be head coach that's just terrible flat out, but a guy that was head coach, but it just didn't work out because of the setup they were given but have proven that as an OC somewhere else they were good. Bring them in for the job here in Minnesota. That's what I think needs to happen. They need to get the team. They got draft picks. They're going to have a high draft pick this year. The jury's still out on JJ. I know he's only started 5-6 games, and he's been mostly injured. I just don't see Kevin O'Connell being the right fit to develop a young quarterback. I think we need to get somebody else in here to help JJ out. But as far as getting a veteran quarterback in here, we don't want to do the Carson Wentz thing. Carson's done. He's cooked. There's going to be guys, there's going to be options out there next free agency. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be available. Whoa. Mac Jones will be available. He's had a pretty good year with San Francisco, but Purdy's back now. He could be an option. But it's going to be hard to do when the Vikings are $30 million over the cap. They need to gut the whole team, and they need to basically they need to do a hard reset. They can't do this competitive reset that they've been doing for years now. Something needs to give for the Vikings. So that's my take on that, and hopefully things will turn around. I will be doing another vlog at the end of the season when the regular season ends. We're going to go back and look at my predictions I made for each division and who I thought was going to make the playoffs. I know I was wrong on quite a few of them, so it's going to be interesting what I picked and where everybody finished. Let's turn our attention to the Twins. As everybody knows, the Twins have been a joke since 2023. They went to the playoffs. They knocked off the Blue Jays. They ended the 0-18 streak. They ended the 20-plus year not winning a series streak, and then they got kicked out of the playoffs by the Astros. 2024, it was a down year, and then this year it's been even worse. They traded half the starters. They traded 11 players in total at the trade deadline. They gutted the team, and they're continuing to gut the team, and they're trying to right-size the ship. They're treating the Twins as a business instead of a franchise because they got themselves in debt with their other dealings, the Pohlads, and now the Twins are suffering for it. And the team was up for sale until they weren't and took the team off the market and claimed there's silent investors to help us, blah, blah, blah. Well, since that announcement, it's now December. We still don't know who these silent investors are. I think, and a lot of people think that was just bullshit talk. I don't think there is any silent investors. And the Pohlad family is continuing to run this team into the ground with a potential lockout in 2027. They're just doing the status quo. They're trying to cut costs anywhere they can to make money. I don't understand why bother continuing. If you're not interested in building a championship that this team has deserved to get and hasn't had since 1991, why bother continuing? Sell the fucking team to somebody who wants to build a champion. It makes absolutely no sense. Teams like the Twins and the Pittsburgh Pirates who just nickel and dime it, why bother? You're just feeding teams like the Dodgers and the Astros and the Yankees with our stars so they can turn them into superstars and win championships. It's fucking ridiculous. And at this point, you start to say, why didn't they? If they're going to continue to do this, they should have just fucking contracted the team in the early 2000s like they were talking about doing. They were going to contract the Twins and the Montreal Expos, but they ended up not doing it because of the state of Minnesota. Minneapolis sued the Twins for breach of contract of the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, and it was upheld. They couldn't get out of it. Contraction was not done. The Expos, they moved to Washington, become the Senator, or the Nationals, and here we are today. And now with the news that they're continuing to cut payroll, now there's talk they're deciding between trading Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez to save more money. And with that news, it was finally announced yesterday. Byron Buxton, to credible sources, said he's now considering waiving his no-trade clause to get him out of Minnesota. I don't blame him one bit. But as a Twins fan, this would be the final nail in the coffin for me. I would be completely done. Vibes in Minnesota are not good on the Twins. This is the worst this team has been since the bad years of the 90s, the dark days, when Kirby Puckett retired because of his glaucoma issues. And the team lost its soul and hasn't had a soul since then. If I'm a potential free agent, or I am a free agent, I would not come anywhere near Minneapolis. If they called me, left a voicemail, I would leave it on red and just delete it. I'm sorry, but the Twins organization is a fucking joke. Derek Falvey needs to be fired. The team needs to be sold. They need to do something. So if you guys want to trade one or both of our ace pitchers and trade our all-star center fielder, then bye. I'm out of here. And so will be thousands of more Twins fans. It's frustrating and it's bullshit that the league continues to let these cheap-ass owners get away with this bullshit. And being run by idiots like the Pohlads and the people that run the Pittsburgh Pirates and the people that run the Athletics. And the Athletics, of course, play cheap and nickel ball just to get out of freaking Oakland to get themselves a new stadium in Vegas, which they're still playing nickel and diming the next few years while that's being built. But that's beside the point. I'm done with ownership and being greedy and not caring about the fans and just worrying about right-sizing their business that they fucked up on their own. So that's it for now. I just wanted to talk Vikings and Twins. I'm trying to get back into doing more vlogs like this where I got the camera working again. I got my setup pretty much set up the way I like it now. I got my new desk all set up. And got my computer all set up. And it's nice to have these vlogs back the way they used to be. And it's going to be good getting back in the swing of things. If you like this episode, hit that like button, leave a comment if you like, subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to help out with future projects or upgrades to the channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/mntwins28, or you can drop something in the old Cash App. You don't have to help, but any help is always greatly appreciated. Until next time, peace out.